Don't you love it when nominees for president get into Twitter feuds? Yeah, me neither. This story is so, I want to say fascinating, but that's not exactly the word I'm looking for. It just shows you the sign of the times when these serious politicians are getting into Twitter wars. This interesting interplay between social media and politics, and certainly the way that you reach, especially young voters, you kind of have to play with the social media game. Bernie Sanders did this a lot with his policies. It's just when you boil it down to this, where you're literally saying, how long did it take you to come up with that? It just makes you feel a little bit like, is this the political game that we're playing? Former student at Indiana University, Bloomington took a plea deal regarding two separate cases in which he was charged with raping fellow students. The 21-year-old instead pled guilty to misdemeanor battery. What is the sentence? 1 day in jail and 1 year of probation. I mean, we have so many circumstances where university assault cases they go underreported or they're not dealt with. I mean, Indiana University itself has been criticized for how it handles assaults. It currently has 3 Title IX complaints against it for these very reasons. I think much more focus needs to be put towards education, dealing with consent, what that means. That's very same point. I think you're right. I mean, this bad press, these universities need to start dealing with this because they can no longer sweep it under the rug. And once people stop wanting to send their kids there, I think that's really what's gonna make any change. It's been 2 years since Colorado legalized marijuana for recreational purposes, and opponents often look to the youth as the reason not to legalize. Well, at least for the moment, it looks like we can maybe chill out with the reefer madness because according to a survey conducted by the Colorado Department of Public Health, teen pot smoking has largely remained unchanged and is in fact lower than the national average.
Did you say chill out with the reefer madness? Just checking.
I didn't say
that. Is a new.
It's going to change your life.
All these kids running around with doobies in their mouths.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like yes, of course, you have a lot of people kind of moving to Colorado because of this, but it's not like every adult in Colorado, now that it's legal, is going to start smoking weed. One of the reasons is because it was still easily obtainable well before legalization, So it kind of highlights the fact that you trying to make drugs illegal doesn't make people smoke.
Who are they going to arrest now?
Taxes that Colorado has been able to bring in from weed, it's surpassed alcohol taxes. They've made so much money from this. Crimes related to marijuana have dropped substantially, and yeah, it allows people to not necessarily be plugged into the judicial system because of these minor drug offenses or even just having possession of marijuana, which I think is the biggest takeaway from this. That let's stop with the prison industrial complex, starting with drugs. We've seen many companies publicly decry North Carolina's recently passed HB 2. But who's next on the list of opponents? A heavy hitter in internet porn. So there's this site called X-Hamster, which I was somewhat ignorant of until this story came. Nick is not ignorant of X-Hamster.
I didn't say anything.
Basically, it has less to do with this specific company causing any change and more to do with the fact, like the amount of companies and the amount of outcry that there's been over this legislation. I mean, in my opinion, I think if every porn company followed suit, it would probably get repealed tomorrow. But I feel like one company doing this, there's a bajillion other outlets for people's
One little hamster.
One little hamster just can't get it done. We had some viewers ask, well, why do the gay people have to be punished? Like, why don't you just leave it so that gay porn is accessible? First question is that even feasible? Would that be feasible to limit it that way? But also, do you think that would undermine the symbolism of the decision to begin with? KFC in Hong Kong has decided to enter the nail polish business. That's right, the brand has come out with 2 flavors of KFC-flavored edible nail polish. Well, if you're like me, you might be thinking, gross! But the new campaign is supposed to create excitement around the fast food chicken brand, at least in Hong Kong. In case you're wondering whether or not this is a prank, it appears that it is not a prank. They've been developing polishes developed from natural ingredients, they say, including McCormick spices, which is apparently the secret spice blend that KFC uses for their chicken. So I guess the secret's out. People in Hong Kong are going to be able to vote on which flavor. If they're like, do I like original? Do I like hot and spicy? And then they'll determine what they want to mass produce. So I don't know if it's going to be just in KFC stores or if you're like, what, you go to Macy's and you go to the KFC section. I had to share this story because I thought it was so absurd. I mean, like, there's all these crazy hoops that, fast food companies are jumping through. I think KFC actually has a sandwich, right, where they're like, it's a chicken sandwich, but instead of 2 pieces of bread, it's 2 pieces of chicken. It's chicken and so they're always doing these stunts. I just never thought they'd enter the cosmetic business. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think that this is going to be finger licking good or finger licking God?